Hello everybody, we are solving a very interesting problem. If you want to give the problem a try, you can pause the video after noting down the problem and then check the solution. The problem is good for everybody, even if you are a 8, 9, 10 students, you can do the problem. Maybe if you have a very high IQ, you will be able to solve it. Otherwise, it is meant for the students of class 11 who have right now learned basic concepts of motion in one dimension. And the problem reads as an engineer works at a plant out of town. A car is sent for him from the plant every day that arrives at the railway station at the same time as the train he takes. One day, the engineer arrived at the station 1 hour before his usual time and without waiting for the car, started walking to work. On his way, he met the car and reached his plant 10 minutes before the usual time. How long did the engineer walk before he met the car? So this is a very absurd looking problem. Generally, when students note it down, they are left clueless. किसको start कहाँ से करें, कैसे इसको approach करें. आप अगर इसको सोचना चाहते हैं, give this video a pause, do it yourself, and then continue watching. So if we consider the solution to this wonderful problem, let us look at this. So we can say that the train arrives at a time t1 minute where this car meets the engineer the moment he comes out of the platform, and then the engineer sits in the car and then comes back to the plant and he reaches the plant at t2 minutes. So with this information, we can say that the duration for which the car was in motion or the time which the engineer takes on a usual day to reach from railway platform to the plant is t2 minus t1 minutes. Now, if we read the problem, we can say that the plant leaves the car at the same time such that it reaches the railway station at the same time as the train which the engineer takes. तो अपने ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि अगर ये कार को जाने में जितना टाइम लगेगा उतना ही टाइम अगर आने में लगेगा, तो this is the time which is the duration of motion for one side. So for both the side, the total duration of motion is twice t2 minus t1. So over here, I can say that the car is sent for the engineer every day at time t2 minus twice of t2 minus t1. So this is the time when the car leaves the plant every single day on a usual day, and in fact on this day also, when the engineer arrives at the railway station, the car reaches the railway station, fetches the engineer and comes back. So this is the first thing that we need to understand, that T1 is the span of time at which the train arrives, T2 is the usual time at which the engineer arrives at the plant. The duration for the motion of the car from railway platform to the plant is T2 minus T1, and if it takes equal interval of time for that car to go from plant to railway station and come back, then we can say that the car leaves the plant at time T2 minus twice of T2 minus T1, that is twice this time, to reach the station and come back. So this is the usual case. Now, on one fine day, the engineer arrives 60 minutes before his usual time. So if he is arriving 60 minutes before his usual time, we can mark this time as T1 minus 60 minutes. And now, without waiting for the car, the gentleman starts walking towards the plant, and we are saying that he walked for T time. So over here we can say that now the time is T1 minus 60 plus T. Obviously, on this fine day also, the car will be leaving the plant at the same span of time, that is T2 minus twice of T2 minus T1, and the car is taking time Tc to reach the man and then come back. So over here we can say that if we write the expression for the car, then we can say T2 minus twice of T2 minus T1 time is when the car leaves, go to the man in time Tc, and then come back again in time Tc. So we can say over here twice Tc. So now we have these two time frames when the engineer arrives at the plant and when the car arrives at the plant, and it is equal to T2 minus 10, that is, he arrives 10 minutes before his usual time. So let us frame the possible equations to solve this particular problem. So over here, the first equation which we can frame is from the motion of the car. So from the motion of the car, we can say T2 minus twice of T2 minus T1 plus twice Tc is equal to T2 minus 10. So over here from this expression, we can chop this T2 out and we get T2 minus T1 minus Tc is equal to 10 by 2, that is 5. So we get this as the first equation. So what we have done over here is we have equated this time to T2 minus 10. And now in the second part, I am equating T1 minus 60 plus T plus Tc equal to T2 minus 10. So over here, if I calculate T2 minus T1, so T2 minus T1 can be written as T2 minus T1 can be written as T plus Tc plus 10 minus 60. So we get T2 minus T1 as this value, and this serves as the second equation. So over here, from here, if we equate T2 minus T1 on both sides, then we can say 5 plus Tc is equal to T plus Tc plus 10 minus 60. So over here, we can say that Tc chops out, and T, that is the duration for which the man walks, is 60 plus 5 minus 10, that is 55 minutes, which is the correct answer for this particular problem. Let me explain it one more time so that you can understand bit by bit of this beautiful problem which we have discussed. So T1 is the span of time when the train arrives, and T2 is the span of time when the car with the engineer reaches the plant. This is the first thing which we need to understand. So over here अपने कह सकते हैं कि इसके बीच में कितना समय लगा, तो ये T2 minus T1 समय लगा इस गाड़ी को इंजीनियर को लेकर के यहाँ तक पहुंचने में. इसका मतलब ये हो गया कि जो गाड़ी है वो T2 minus twice of this time पहले ये प्लांट से निकला होगा. तो ये इस समय पे अगर प्लांट से निकलेगा तो T2 minus T1 टाइम पे यहाँ पहुंचेगा, और फिर T2 minus T1 टाइम पे यानी कि फिर से T2 आ जाएगा. It will reach back the plant with the engineer. So this is the usual day या आम जिंदगी. आज मिनट ऑफ जिंदगी है. इसमें अपने कह रहे हैं कि रेल प्लेटफॉर्म पे इंजीनियर 1 घंटे पहले आ गया, that is T1 minus 60 minutes. So he reaches 1 hour before his usual time, and now without waiting for the car, he starts walking towards the plant. So we are considering that the man walked for T minutes. So over here it will become T1 minus 60 plus T, and if the car leaves at the same time from the plant, unknowing that the engineer arrived early, so it will take T2 minus twice of T2 minus T1, and if the car is taking time Tc to reach him, it will be T2 minus twice of T2 minus T1 plus Tc to reach the man, and then to come back along with the man, it will be T2 minus twice of T2 minus T1 plus twice of Tc. So जाने का टाइम और आने का टाइम दोनों ऐड करके twice of Tc बना दिया हम लोगों ने. अगर इस पूरे मैन के जर्नी को अपने देखें तो T1 minus 60 plus T plus Tc, यानी कि ये वाला समय लगा इस मैन को गाड़ी के साथ प्लांट पहुंचने में. तो ये वाला टाइम और ये वाला जो फाइनल बात जो क्वेश्चन कह रहा है that the man arrives at the plant 10 minutes before his usual time, तो ये तीनों टाइम एक ही है, अपने ऐसा कह सकते हैं. अब ऑब्वियसली अपने एक बार इसको इससे इक्वेट करेंगे और एक बार इसको इससे इक्वेट करेंगे या इसको डायरेक्टली इससे इक्वेट करेंगे. एंड नाउ द आइडिया इज टू सॉल्व फॉर t. सो ओवर हियर by equating these expressions we solve for t and we obtain the final answer, that is 55 minutes. So I hope you like this wonderful problem which originated in the book B.B. Bukotsav, which is a wonderful book of physics. Obviously, you know Erudov. B.B. Bukotsav is also a wonderful book of physics. You can see through that book, it contains 800 problems of physics, which are obviously wonderful problems which matches this level. So I hope you like watching this video. Do continue to watch, learn, like, share and subscribe the video if you enjoyed watching it.